Hi, this is Mark Haynes with Fly Rod Chronicles and Fly Fish Tie Flies, and today we are going to tie the turkey tail nymph. This is a fly I really like in the spring, works really well during the sulfur hatch, and it's just really a good all-around nymph hook. The hook we're using today is the Trout Legend 150J jig hook. Really like this jig hook, little shorter shank, really sticky point, really great hook. And also on this hook, I already have loaded on a 3.0 millimeter Trout Legend bead. Great bead, copper. I like this color on a nymph. It really sets it off well. So we're going to start with black UTC Ultra 70 denier and thread and get that started on the hook. So just start your thread so it's nice and secure. Either trim off or get that extra thread out of the way. And the first thing I'm going to do on this is I'm going to actually build up a thread dam to secure that bead to the front of the hook. It's really important. It really helps. It keeps it later on so that bead doesn't want to slide back over that hook and become a problem. The fly it'll actually tear apart your fly if you do not do this step properly. Some guys will use lead on this. I don't want too much weight. I usually am fishing this fly in heavier water, but it's usually during a sulfur hatch. I do some other things with it on the ways I fish it, or dry drop or things like that. So I don't want that extra lead in there for weight. Tail on this fly is medium Pardot Coq de Leon. As you can see, it's got a real nice barring on this stuff. I really like it on a lot of my nymphs, and even dry flies. Just has a real natural look. So you want to pull off, keep them even. The trick for keeping them even, once you have them there, you pull them away from the thing, and one quick movement, boom, pull them right off, and you can see all those points on those are really even. Now measure the distance or the length of that, and you want to make it about the same as the shank of the hook, as you can see there. Bring that back, line it up to your thread tie-in point where we have right where the bend of the hook starts, and you're going to do a pinch wrap. So we'll do one pinch wrap, and if you got it on there right, the one should be all you need. You may need to do a couple pinch wraps till you get the hang of that. Then once you have that, just bring your thread all the way up to the front, and I'm keeping that body nice and even so I can keep the taper going the whole way through, and it gives that nymph a more natural profile as we go. So bring your thread back to where you are at the base of the tail there. And the next thing we're going to use on this fly is extra fine or extra small wire. Just depends on what brand you get it from here. I don't remember where I got this stuff, but it's an extra fine copper wire. You need this for the rib. It's real important for keeping this fly together. What I like to do is I tend to always keep my wire on the side of the hook near me. It's just a habit I have. That's up to you, what you want to do. It doesn't really matter. Some guys will try to line it up underneath. Some guys will line it up on top. I just like to stay consistent with the way I tie it on. Okay, next thing we have here is we have your turkey tail. With this, I like to see, if you see there's kind of what I consider the money zone on this. The very tips, you get that black and brown, or it depends on what part of the country and the color for different types. This is an eastern turkey. I like to find the zone that's kind of in this middle. It gets real light color as it gets down the tail, and it's nice dark barring right through this section. Right through here is definitely my money zone. It's got the nice coloration to it. I pull off 3 of those individual feather quills or stems.
Hi, I'm Curtis Fleming, host of Fly Rod Chronicles.
And I'm attorney Dino Colombo. Curtis and I grew up together here in West Virginia, and at an early age, we had some wonderful teachers introduce us to the great sport of fishing.
It gave us a new appreciation of the beauty and the outdoor opportunities we have here in West Virginia.
And now we're asking you to carry on the tradition. Take a kid fishing. It's a gift they'll have forever.
And there's 2 sides you want to take from the longer side of the turkey tail. Trim that off. Once you trim that off, the next thing you want to do is that end tends to be really brittle. Just take that first 1/4 of an inch or so off of the material and tie that in. You want to actually do this however you really want, but I want to make sure that I keep that turkey tail going all the way up to the front of the hook I tie it the whole way in on the body to keep everything even and keep that taper in. Now we're going to wrap that turkey tail one in front of the other, and you can see that nice difference in coloration between that black and that brown. Really gives a really natural look. I honestly feel that it's sometimes this fly is very similar to your pheasant tails or Frenchies and stuff, but just this little subtle darker color. I don't know what it is, but at times it just seems to be a lot more effective. Let's get that tied in there. Tie that in on the top. You should trim off the excess. You're good to go. You might want one more wrap in there just to secure that. Now, at this point, you're going to bring up your ribbing, or that copper wire that you have tied in. You want to do your best, and you're going to counter wrap. I'm going to bring this over counterclockwise, the opposite of what I tied in the turkey tail. And what this does is it wraps over top that and makes the fly more secure. That's a big something. Anytime you're using any kind of quill bodies and stuff like that on nymphs, whether or pheasant tails, things like that, and you're going to do a rib, you always want to counter rib the opposite direction. Otherwise, you are defeating the whole purpose. Now with this, I don't, like, see, I went in there with my scissors and I remind you know what, I don't want to ruin these. These are my good scissors from Loon, and I really like them, so I just want to go ahead and I'm going to helicopter that off with this thin wire. It doesn't actually take too much. You can see right there, it only took a few times around, and that's good. Another wrap there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. The dubbing is Squirrel Synthetic Living Fiber from Wops Fly. I really like this stuff, the Spiky Dub SLF and the Squirrel. The color I'm using is brown. Just has a lot of properties to it. Really nice fly. And the method I'm going to use is touch dub. And with touch dub, I use Loon Low Tack Swax. This stuff's actually, the name's deceiving. It's really pretty tacky stuff. So I need a good amount of that on there on the thread. And then they call this method touch dubbing. And this is why, because you take your dubbing and you want to make sure it's as loose as you can get it. And it's not working real well for me here, so I may have to mess with this a little bit. Cut that in half, see if that helps, and just touch that on, and you'll see there how that just picked up just enough to that I'm covering that. Now, this next thing you're going to do is you're going to spin your bobbin. So to do this, I'm actually going to put my finger right behind where that dubbing was, grab my bobbin, and I'm going to spin it really fast, clockwise. Once that's almost done, push that up. You can see it's kind of spinning. What's happening is that thread is binding. As I'm moving those twists that I put in it up, it's binding that material into the thread. And this is one of the reasons you really want to use the UTC or another flat thread, because when you tighten it, it actually does bind and catch that. And you can see I have that there, and it's nice buggy look to that. It's really going to give us some nice movement in the water. So now, this fly, since it's tied around, there's no wing case on this. Just bring that dubbing up to the front. Once you have it on there, push any extra longer guard hairs and stuff back, because that's kind of what's acting as your legs. You can see this fly is done. All I'm going to do now, I'm going to do 1/2 hitch here. And another thing you want to do, see how that's, I think you guys can probably see that my thread is curling. It's not going to give me a real good whip finish. And the reason it's doing that is because I did all those twists in it when I was doing the touch dub. So I want to spin it the other way. And you'll know you're good because it'll stop curling up. So I have quite a few here in there because I did spin it pretty tight to get a nice jerk body. You can see it's starting to soften up now. Yeah, there. See that now it's not curling, it's soft. It's going to give me a good 1/2 hitch now. That's really important. Without that, you're going to tend sometimes to put like a little knot in there, and it will come loose, and you won't have a good knot. So I'll do a couple 3-4 turn whip finishes and finish that off. Clip off that thread, and this fly is good to go. So one you'll definitely want to try. It's really good during the month of May into June when you got sulfurs. I like to tie this in size 14, 16s, and 18s, which I have here. But it'll actually work in smaller or larger sizes if you want, because it's a good all-around nymph. But that's what I got for you today. So please subscribe. We're gonna have more of these fly tying videos coming in the future. And if you want this fly, I'm gonna have this fly available in my Etsy store, and the link will be provided below. Thanks.